Hello, welcome to Three Crows Runes. My name is Jen. Let's do some rune readings. Today we are doing readings which are messages from Fairy. It's almost the equinox. I'll be doing the equinox readings next week, but it's almost the equinox, so we're all thinking about our connection to Earth. And the messages from Fairy tend to come directly from that. So whichever equinox you are going to be experiencing in a little while, this is going to be about that. So let's pick a card, because one of these cards from the beautiful Brian Froud Faerie Oracle will have a message for you from Fairy. I will be reading that with the Willow Runes, which is very exciting. And I know we just saw them last week, but only for one reading, so Willow goes very well with fairies. And I will put the timestamps in the description, and I will see you there. Bye! Hello to those of you who chose card number 1 in the Faerie Oracle picks of cards. So your message from Fairy, let's start by turning over the card and seeing what we start with. Penelope, Dreamweaver. Okay, so initially, like the main point of the message from Fairy for this is look to your dreams. If you are not one of the people that remembers dreams, that's okay, because whatever you need to know is being shown to you all the time. So, I mean, it's the whole thing about, like, if you dream about a yellow dog and then you wake up and you see a yellow dog, is this an indication of your psychic ability? Yes, but it's also an indication that you need to see a yellow dog. And whether that is in your waking life or in your dreaming life, it's still important for you to see for whatever reason and whatever message that is for you. So the important thing is pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to what's going into your dreams. Because it is Dreamweaver, so there is that element of paying attention to how you're nourishing your dreams. I find, if I'm not giving myself enough input, like if I'm not reading new things or if I'm not watching new things or doing new things, then my dreams tend to stagnate a bit, so I need to keep getting some nourishing input going in there. That kind of thing. So that, and also look to your dreams. So let's see what the runes have to add. We have the Elder Futhark on Willow today. Let's get down this reading. Yes, exactly. I couldn't have, if I had decided to choose the rune that was going to go for the central issue for this, that is exactly the rune I would have chosen. So that's cool. Yes, very nice. I'm going to put down the entire reading initially, the whole thing, and then we're going to go from there. We may add, we may subtract, but not subtract. We're never going to subtract, but we may add to it, and we may put things in places and stuff. So your central issue, card number 1, people, is Laguz reversed. So Laguz is the rune of the water. It's all that watery stuff, so it's emotion, intuition, heart. When it's reversed, it goes inner, and one of the things that this is the inner intuition, so that is dream. So your whole focus is, you want to turn your focus into what your dreams are saying to you and what your dreams are showing you. Whether that is in your dreaming life or whether that is in your walking around corporeal waking life, but either way, what your dreams are showing you is what you need to be focusing on, is the message from Fairy for you. Leading up to this, there's been a lot of material focus, and you've sort of felt like something's been missing. And of course, here's your message from Fairy. Fairy's like, okay, you've got the material thing going on, but don't forget this level of your intuitive level and your dreams and your dreaming, and even, your emotion and connecting with your inner heart, because this is what's going to connect you to your inner heart. You're going to see what's going on there if you're actually paying attention to the messages in your dreams, even if you're not interested in the messages, just paying attention to what your dreams are showing you, just to connect with that deep pulse. So I'm just trying to get these little fluffs off. They're very visible in the black. Okay. So leading up to this, you're very comfortable with the material, which is fine. That's good. You've got that going on. That's decent. Let's bring this into bringing in the balance and what you need to start. What Fairy is suggesting that might help balance you as far as what you feel you may be lacking in your life at the moment. What is going to help you with that? Be still. This will turn you inward. This is Isa, which is the rune of ice. This is the stillness through which clarity comes. So giving yourself the time to be still and let that start to speak to you, let that clarity come through. And the clarity that's going to come through is the messages from your inner world. That is basically, maybe it's your higher self speaking to you, or whatever you consider, your inner world, your inner connections. This is Manaz, it's the rune of humanity, and your part in it is reversed. So you're tuning out the din of humanity and you're focusing on your inner world. And that's what you're going to be able to do once you are giving yourself that moment to be still. Maybe meditate, or maybe do journey work, or maybe just sit quietly and not be distracted by the din of the outside. That's what's going to help connect you in, get that right mindset. What isn't going to help is just pushing forward to stave off the chaos. So we have Tivaz, which is Tyr's rune. Tyr is the warrior god. He has to do with tending duties and responsibilities, and it's like there's always something else to do. There's always something outward to do, and just driving forward and being very, very yang, and that's fine, but you do need the balance. And this is how you're going to get balanced with your yin, is to get connected to that inner world. So I'm going to tell you, the reason that this is going on is that it's your way of staving off the chaos. We have Hagalaz, which is the rune of the hailstorm. This is basically, you are taking care of things. You are on the material side of things. You are very much practical and taking care of, what needs to get taken care of, which is important. And the reason that you're driven to do this is because things are so chaotic, and you want to get on top of that, and you're worried that chaos is going to overwhelm you if you don't keep doing this. But balance is going to help you. If you keep doing this, you're never going to be able to get that balance with that inner world and with that yin side and with dream and the messages that are coming to you that you need to know whether or not you can, whether or not this is something that you can reason. It's something that you need to be having. It's that richness that comes in that makes life rich. And if you just focus on the outer, then you're going to be missing out on that, and it's going to drag you down, and because you won't feel quite balanced. It'll feel very surface. So give yourself that depth. Give yourself that time to focus on the inner world, and just basically be still. Give yourself time to be still and let that start to speak to you. So what your next step is going to be is we have Nauthiz reversed. Nauthiz is the rune of need. Reversed, it always means, Nauthiz always means tend your needs, but when it's reversed, it means drop everything and tend your needs. Now, it's kind of tricky because, like we just said, but you just said don't do that. Well, I'm saying it's going to be a matter of like balance, because once you get a taste of that inner world, you're going to basically like, oh my gosh, I need this. But then you need to find that balance between your inner world and your outer world, because it's not, you don't want to overbalance either one, even if one has not had the time that you've given the other one. You do want to find that balance, and it's pretty critical that you're going to need to find that balance. What is going to help you is just really to work on it. We have Ingvaz, which is Ing's rune. Ing is another name for Frey. Frey is the fertility god. I usually read this as active creation. So you're going to be really actively shaping your surrounding your world in terms of what you want in it, and it's about finding that balance. And your dreams, if you're able to connect with dreams at that point, that's going to help you with that. It's going to be material with which to weave. So that's going to help you, is basically, what do I want my life to look like? What do I want this to be shaped like around me? And it's not like, I want to live in a mansion and everything made of gold. Okay, but right now, in terms of just what is going to nourish your mind, just basically, how are we going to balance this? How are we going to balance the richness of that inner life with what you need to do with the outer life? And it's pretty critical at this point. You're going to see how critical it is once you open up to that inner life. You're going to be like, how do I fit this in? Because this is really, really good. It's delicious and nourishing. So what might drag you down at this point is just basically you may be worried about energy levels. You may be worried about how you're going to get your energy. You may feel like a lot. It's the sun. So we have so Velo as what isn't going to help you is worries about energy levels, worries about fitting this in. You do have that. It is something that you're going to be driven to do anyway. And you're going to see how critical it is once you start connecting with it. So bring yourself back up to where, yes, I know, but things will be better once I get things more balanced in my life. So yes, there is going to be that worry about how am I going to manage this? Do I have the energy to do this? I just feel like, one world was enough and now I have to deal with two. But you don't have to deal with two. And besides, it's the same world. It's all real. So in its way, the reality is what's real to the soul. So to speak, whatever soul is for you. So, you can get these nourishing elements that give your life depth that you didn't have when you were only focused on the surface. So you can work with it. That's what's going to help is actually the act of giving yourself that space to work with it and to shape it and try to shape what your life is going to look like, incorporating dream and the deeper real into it. And what this is going to lead you to is we have Berkana reversed. Berkana is the rune of the birch tree and birth. It has to do with beginnings, new beginnings. It is reversed. Reversed usually refers to inner. So you've got a new beginning starting. You're becoming somebody new that is bringing forward both parts of your life, that is both going to be the outward practical side and also the inner gorgeous inner landscape type side, which is giving your life richness from the depths. So you're going to be just starting. You're like this, it's going to be your start. This is going to be your start of bringing that through and having a richer life and a more balanced life. So that card number 1, people, is your reading of your message from Fairy. I wish you all the best with this. It's worth it. It's so worth it. I wish you the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, card number 2, people. So, card number 2, people, we're going to turn this and see the beginning of your message from Fairy. And we have... I don't know what letter that's supposed to be. Nick the Niomancer, Hick the Hyomancer, Mick the Myomancer. Font is important, and it's very beautiful. But anyway, I don't know. That's really interesting. But anyway... Okay, basically, let's start reading. It's definitely somebody who is very close with Earth and somebody who is very able to tune into the vibrational levels and the vibrational messages of Earth and plants, and to be able to wring magic from it. He looks very gnome-like, or perhaps even troll-like in terms of the good trolls. It's more focused on really the feeling because of the black and white element of it, where you're actually tuning out the deep visuals. So maybe this is like a night thing as well, like just to sort of be able to tune into this by night. So this would actually be referenced in how the runes have gone. I've laid down the whole thing. So Willow Runes, Elder Futhark, let's go. So it looks like being able to draw magic from being in where you don't know, where you're not like, you're being still so you can pick up what you need to pick up. And it's not like a day thing where everything is vivid with color. You're picking up other things. You're picking up the sound of the leaves. You're picking up the rustling of life within the leaves. You're picking up the pulse of the earth, things like that. And this is your message from Fairy, is just to basically open up to that. We have the blank runes. So it's basically about being open to what you have never known before. Like, be open to messages that were previously unknown. What has led up to this? You've already started to do this. You've already started to give yourself moments of stillness, where it's the stillness through which clarity comes. So we have Isa, which is ice, Ice has to do with stillness, stand still, but again, it's the stillness through which clarity comes, and you've already started to do that. You've already started to tune into these other rhythms. So here you are focusing on that. Fairy recommends that you take some time to just basically turn off the visuals as your main form of input and start to take in the other things. You know, touch, the sense of scent, sense of smell, perhaps sense of taste, definitely sense of feeling, sense of hearing. Just really tune into that, because there is richness and worlds that are there that you can hear from, that you can feel from, that you can smell from, that are giving you whole worlds of information that you haven't had before. What is going to help you with that? We have Ingvaz and we have Gebos. So Ingvaz is Ing's rune. Ing's the fertility god. He's another name for Frey. I usually read this as active creation, but it's about basically, I mean, really, one of the catchphrases I use for this is control. Use what you have to control what you can. So start from where you are to do this. Start from where you are to sort of get yourself into that. Like, there will be a certain amount of forcing, as far as it's not going to be like what you're normally used to, but you've already started this with being still. So continue with that. Beyond that is your agreement to do so. We have Gebo, which is the rune of the gift. The gift is always an exchange. This is your way to have an exchange with this other world. Like, this is, first of all, it's your agreement with yourself to do it. It's your decision with yourself to do it. Gebo is the gift. It's an exchange. It's agreements, decisions, goals, and plans. It also does have to do with a one-on-one interaction. So this is your way to connect with this. This is your way to have an exchange with these other realms and these other levels and these other rhythms and these other worlds that you have previously just walked by, like you've just passed them by. And so putting yourself there and sitting yourself to it is going to be key to getting yourself to that point where you are making that connection, where you are having those exchanges. That's very, very exciting. What isn't going to help is we have Nauthiz and we have Vunyo reversed. So you're worried about all the little needs that need to happen. Like, you're worried about, I'm doing this, but I'm neglecting the things that I have to do. But also just like this worry about it's too much to think about. Like, you're going to sit to this and it's like suddenly it's like several other worlds worth of rules that are coming in that you now have to abide by to a certain extent, or else you're going to look foolish. And beyond that, you're worried about being unhappy. You're worried about causing unhappiness. So it's that whole, these are worries. So mostly it's just worry. The main thing is just to do it and start. Like, if a baby that was just born said, I'm afraid to do anything new because I don't want to bother anybody, it's like the baby wouldn't grow. You're in these other worlds that you've never been in before. You're going to make mistakes, but that's fine. It's part of learning, and anything that's relatively understanding there will understand. There are areas that things are not going to be understanding, but that's important learning too. So basically, these are your worries. This might hold you back. Try not to let those hold you back. You do have a certain amount of control where you are sitting to it, you are choosing to do this, and you're making this an exchange. This is an exchange because you're giving energy to this as well, and that's going to nourish it, and it's going to come back for you in hopefully a good way. So your next step here is, it's going to be this big, like, you're going to get a lot of energy from this. This is going to give you energy that you never knew you had access to. It's very, very exciting. We have Sovilo. This is the only rune set that I have where Sovilo actually has what looks like a reversal. So I'm actually going to bring that into it. You are going to feel like you're getting energy into parts of you internally. And this could be internally, like just physically internally. This could also be internally, like soul level, whatever that is for you. Into your inner world that you've never had an influx of before. What is going to help you is recognize this as nature, and recognize this as your nature too, like as nourishing your nature, that this is all part of nature. Sorry, we have Hagalaz, which is the hailstorm rune. This has to do with chaos and the uncontrolled uncontrollables, but also very, very strongly nature. So natural forces, natural energies, and just to open to that as far as, I don't go open to everything because you'll be like overwhelmed, but in terms of what's bringing you're going to be accessing energies that you never thought you never even dreamed of. And to accept this as a part of nature, not just like this supernatural thing, because it's ultra natural. It's more natural than it's supernatural, but it's like supernatural in terms of not above natural, but very natural. So you're tuning into things that you didn't know before that were a part of nature all along, and you are now connecting with them as well you should. So it's very exciting, and to accept this as natural. It's not something that is unnatural. It's something really neat, and you're getting energy from it that you didn't know you had access to. So it's very exciting and well worth your while. What won't help is it's, everybody's in these realms, even more than here. You very much have to be bold and make your step, and be gracious and be supportive, but also, be gracious, but also be bold. And you may be hunting for or worried about support because you don't know anybody here. This is not your realm inherently, but now you are making it. You're joining it. You're integrating. So we have Algies, which is the rune of the elk. This has to do with protection and support. It's upright, so when you see a very upright rune in the lower line, this has to do with fears about that thing. You are worried about support. You're worried about protection. And honestly, sometimes rightly so, in some of these realms, especially if you're not used to them. But bring yourself back up to, this is nature. I would be just as careful if I was walking into a stretch of woodland that I didn't know, just in case of bears or whatever you have in your woodlands that you might want to worry about. So give it respect, give it, care and respect, and take care and be careful and step carefully and respectfully. But remember that this is also nature, and you have to be strong in that, and you're going to be learning about it, but you're going to be careful and just treat it like nature, like it is, and it will continue to give you the energy, because when you go in nature, it gives you energy, especially if you thank it first. Like, always thank first, thank afterwards, but thank first, and you would be amazed. Like, if you give the thanks first, the energy that comes, I'm just knocking everything over, the energy that comes flowing in upon the giving of that thanks is astonishing. I almost said astonishing, which is an interesting portmanteau, but you'd be amazed. Give it a try. Thank first. Thank nature first, and see what happens. So yes, absolutely, you're getting more energy, and really what this is going to lead you to is a greater, so this is Avaz. It's the horse rune. The horse has to do with movement and also spirit. You're going to feel invigorated, your spirit is going to feel invigorated, and your spirit is going to carry you more strongly forward, and you will be able to move more lightly and swiftly forward also with all this new energy that you've accessed. So that, card number 2, people, is your message from Fairy. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, card number 3, people. So we're going to start for our message from Fairy. We're going to start by turning this card from the Brian Froud Faerie Oracle, and we have Solace. So your first message from Fairy here is look to the sun. And I'm going to read that as far as the deeper sun thing, whereas it's basically look to your source energy, look to what nourishes you, no matter what. When you tap into it, whatever it is that you tap into that always nourishes you and always gives you energy, that's what it's saying to look to. Maybe you haven't been lately. Maybe you've just sort of been so busy and wrapped up in other things that you've sort of neglected it without meaning to. But do it, because it's like that's what's missing. You need to have that connection. It may even be a simple message to get out there and get some vitamin D. Go out there and let the sun shine on you as much as you possibly can have it do so. So that's your message primarily. So let's see what the runes have to add. Okay, runes, what do you have to add? Beautiful. Yes, and what makes you happy, which is extremely important. Why are these coming out crooked? Why am I laying them down crooked is actually the truer question. Okay, let's see what we have. I'm going to lay down the entire reading, and then we're going to go from there. Willow Runes. Nice. Is that blank? That's really blank. Okay. Good. What's our outcome? What's our outcome rune? There we go. Ooh, neat. Neat. Okay, so our central issue here is Vunyo. Vunyo is the rune of joy. And just like the sun here, Solus, is saying tap into your source energy, this one is focus on your joy. Let your joy guide you, let your joy lead you, and focus on the joy. Keep your focus on what brings you joy. Leading up to this, you've been really busy. In terms of just you've been at the top speed pace. We have Avaz, which is the horse rune. The horse is movement and also spirit. I'm seeing more movement than spirit here, to be honest. It's just basically you've been galloping, and the things that you need to do to keep yourself happy and nourished at a source level have been falling by the wayside. So now you're in a situation where you're like, I need to get back to what used to make me happy. You know, I can move fast, but there's no point if I'm not happy, and I need to be happy. So need to start giving focus to your joy. It is important. It's not a luxury. Do it. It's what keeps you with your spirit and moving forward together. What is going to help you? We have Gabo and we have Ingvaz. So Gabo is the rune of the gift. Gift in the ancient Norse is always about an exchange. You don't ever give something without getting, or you don't ever get something without giving something in return. So it's always an exchange. In the runes, it's generally agreements, decisions, goals, and plans. It could be a one-on-one relationship. What I'm seeing this as is just basically making this your goal, making this agreement with yourself to do this. Like, this is something that you need to set down. Maybe you have to put it on your list to do something, your busy day list. Add to that list to do a thing or more than one thing that gives you joy, because that's critical. And what this is going to open up for you is the ability to, this Ingvaz, which is Ing's rune. Ing is another name for Frey. Frey is the fertility god, and this has to do with active creation. I usually say, use what you have to control what you can. So whatever you have and wherever you are, you can follow up on your agreement with yourself to do something to make yourself happy. So let your joy be a focus in your life as you gallop forward. What isn't going to help is you are a bit, this is interesting, the sun and the sun. You are a bit worried about energy levels, which, again, if you're connecting with joy, it's going to be, you're already with the energy levels and you want to use them. We have Sovilo and we have Dagaz. So both of these are sun runes with the sun, and we have the breaking of the day. So it's almost like you're worried about getting too much energy. It's like, I would say, worries about getting too much energy for fear of burning out. Because it's like, you're worried about connecting with this, so you'll have so much energy, and then you're worried about being overwhelmed by that and then burning out. So try not to worry about that, because this is source energy. Source energy is whatever you can access. It's like that line in Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead, where he's like, what's the first thing you remember? And it's like, I'm sorry, no, it's gone. It was too long ago. It's like, no, you don't understand. What's the last thing after the first thing you remember after all the things you've forgotten? So source energy is what you can tap into that will always give you energy. And as long as you're tapped into it, you will be able to, this is sort of stuff that when you're doing it, you're like, I could do this all day. Obviously you can't, but it makes you feel like that. And, you obviously need sleep. So make sure you're giving yourself sleep and rest, however, and food and water and whatever you need. But don't worry about this being the kind of energy that is so strong that it's going to burn you out. This is something you can always turn to. And even if you have to mix it up to keep it fresh, it's something that, it gives you joy, gives you energy every time. And this is what's going to help you. So don't worry about that. Don't even worry about people getting annoyed with you because you have energy. And don't even get worried about, people, if I have energy, then people are going to think I'm weird, or people are going to put me down because they're jealous, all that garbage. So don't worry about it, because this is for you. You're not living for anybody else as far as that goes. This is your energy. If they can find their own energy. There's no There's no honor in being miserable and tired all the time. So, if you can help it. So, doopy-doo. We have, so if that's, just don't let that drag you down. If that starts to be the case, just remember, I've made this agreement with myself. I'm going to work with what I have to control what I can, and definitely keep focus on what brings me joy and what gives me my source energy. What your next step is going to be is we have Ivaz. Ivaz is the rune of the yew tree. This has to do with patience, slow growth, slow development. So take it step by step. Be patient with yourself as you sort things out. You know, maybe you do have to extricate yourself from like, not demands, what's the word I'm looking for what you think other people want of you. And just, you know, be patient with yourself, because this is for you. This isn't for them. It shouldn't matter to them whether you have energy suddenly or not, or whether you're whether you're miserable or not. You know, if you're happy, that should be good. They should be happy for you. And if they're not, maybe they shouldn't be around you. People around you should be happy for when you're happy. Anyway, what is going to help you at that point is tune out the din of humanity. Whatever people are just like, you oughta, and you shoulda, and you shouldn't have done that, and you should do this, and you should do that. Tune that garbage out, because you are tuning into this. You're tuning into your inner spirit. You're tuning into where your energy is coming from. You're tuning into what gives you your inner health and energy, of course. And so you don't have to listen to all of that. You know, that they're just, maybe they're dragging you down because they feel crummy and they feel like if they can drag you down, they'll feel better. Don't let them do that. That's ridiculous. You know, you show them the other way, which is that if you have a lot of energy, you can bring people up. And that's the best way to do it. So, anyway, being patient with yourself, tune out the din, whatever is trying to drag you down. Just tune that out. Focus on inner and what brings you joy and what gives you energy. What isn't going to help you is basically fear of the unknown, because it seems like you've been doing this for so long where you're just like push, 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 that taking care of yourself and looking inward and finding joy and actually allowing yourself to feel it is uncharted territory to a certain extent. And so you're a little bit worried about it, because it's almost like you've for so long been in that there's been this sense of, if I have this, then I'm doing something wrong. When in fact it really just comes down to, you know, make sure your own oxygen mask is in place before attempting to help another. You know, you want to make sure that you are happy and comfortable and with energy and joy. And the more you have that, then the more you can help other people. So it's better off for everybody. You know, it seems selfish, but it's actually one of the most altruistic things that you can do, is to be selfish in this regard, where you are putting your needs as a priority, and then you can help everybody else. But in order to do that, you have to tune out the din and patiently work with this. So try not to worry about the unknown in this. This is something, you know that it's making you feel good, like, you know that it's making you feel, not like make you feel good, but it's making you feel healthy and alive, which is a different thing. So there we go. What this is going to lead you to is a greater sense of your own nature, your own inherent natural energy. We have Hagalas, which is through the hailstorm. This has to do with, usually I read this as chaos and the uncontrolled uncontrollables, but it is also very much natural forces, natural energies. And remembering that you are a part of nature yourself, and by rights, you are also a force of nature. And you will be more a force of nature once you've gone through this. Once you've connected with your source energy, and once you've connected with your joy, you will have the energy to just basically, when you're putting it, like when you are flowing with good soulless energy, things have a harder time getting in at you, because you're just shining. And so you are going to be going out and being a force of nature where you are just going to be shining, and the stuff is not going to be able to get in at you because you're going to shine. And, so what if that bothers people? Maybe they can learn from that and become forces of nature themselves. So that, card number 3, people, is your reading, your message from Fairy. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello. know card number 4, people. So, messages from Fairy. We're going to turn this card, and it's from the beautiful Brian Froud Faerie Oracle. You get to see this because I didn't do this with any other readings. Look at this card, okay? And look at this card. He has drawn this so that it's the same upside down as it is right side up, and there's faces looking at you right side uply, no matter how you turn it, which is awesome. Anyway, on we go with the reading. I'm going to turn this card. We're going to get our beginning of our message from Fairy, and you have the Singer of Transfiguration. So what Fairy is telling you, initially at least, is sing yourself into change and sing yourself through change, because change is difficult, but if you are singing yourself and transforming with it, if you are singing your own transformation, which is just basically shining your own transformation through, this is not only going to be easier, but you'll be a part of the change, and you'll be an active part of the change because you are going to be actively recreating yourself in the new situation. So let's see what the runes have to add. We have the Elder Futhark on Willow this time, and we have the beautiful horse, which is awesome. We love the horse. The horse is a neat one because once you've done a few readings, I was in a situation where there were children, and I was doing some readings for people, and the children, as soon as they know which one is the horse, they recognize that horse immediately. And they always point out the horse whenever the horse comes up, which is awesome. So I'm happy about that. It's just sort of a lifetime of pointing at the horse and going, horse. Horses! Which is absolutely what I am like. Anyway, so your central issue here for your message from Fairy is to follow the spirit and to keep moving forward. We have Avaz, which is the horse rune, and the horse has to do with with movement and also spirit. So just basically let your spirit carry you, and that's a really good way to deal with change. Is just basically put your focus on your spirit, let your spirit lead, and say, how would you go through this, and let your spirit carry you through this, and you can sing your way through the change and your own personal transformation if you're letting your spirit carry you a lot more easily than if you didn't. So what led up to this is really a big energy change. We have Sovilo, which is the rune of the sun. Sun has to do with source energy, but in this case, I'm really seeing this as something really big and overwhelming, just basically big and hot. It's the sun. So it's sort of lighting up your current field of vision. I am actually going to say that you've recently been able to tap into your source energy as well, which is important. Your source energy is whatever will give you energy no matter what. Whatever that is for you, could be nature, could be music, could be art, whatever it is that always give you energy, you've recently tapped into that. And so you are moving forward, you're letting your spirit carry you, which is really, really good. And it is helping you through your own transformation, your own transfigurations, and helping you deal with change by naturally transforming with the world. I mean, you look at nature and look at nature and how nature changes with the seasons. I mean, there's animals that even change color depending on the time of year that it's in. And this is just very natural. We change with our current situation, our current environment. We naturally transform along with it in order to maintain harmony with it. It's all a song. So what is going to help you here is we have Manas reversed and Hagalas. So Manas reversed, Manas is the rune of humanity and your part in it. Reversed, it turns inward. So it's basically you are turning inward, you are listening to yourself, you're tuning out the din of humanity where they're like, you shoulda, you oughta, you blah, blah, blah. That's fine for them, but you know what you need, and internally you know what you're listening to your inner drummer and you're marching to that. And that's what's going to help you. And what this is going to connect you with is your dance with nature. We have Hagalas, which is the rune of the hailstorm. Yes, chaos and the uncontrolled uncontrollables, but also very, very much, especially in the highest line, nature and your connection with it and how you too are nature. So it's your finding harmony with nature and what's around you by singing your transfiguration, singing your changes, and basically being very close in connection with your connection with your inner voice, with your tuning out the din of humanity, and just basically it's just you and nature having this harmony. What isn't going to help is we have Dagas and we have Ingvas. So this might seem a little contradictory, but it's not, so I'm going to explain it. So Dagas is the breaking of the day. This is basically overwhelm. This is something that is unignorable, and you may feel overwhelmed with this. Like, this may be like suddenly everything is in your face and you're seeing it, and it's filled your entire field of vision, and your inclination is going to be to wrestle with it and try to shape it into something that maybe it isn't. So Daga is breaking of the day. Ingvas is Ing's rune. Ing is another name for Frey. Frey is the fertility god. I usually read this as active creation. So you may be tempted in a state of overwhelm to try to force something to be something that it isn't, instead of what you are doing and what is going to help, which is basically tuning out the din of what everybody's telling you you should or should not do, listening to your own inner voice and your own inner harmonies, and finding your own harmony with nature and what's happening around you in this state of change. So there you go. So what your next step is going to be is patience with yourself as you take step by step along this path. You are going to be singing harmony with the changes and with your changing self, but you're not going to be doing all of this all at once. It is going to be a relatively gradual thing. It's like all the leaves don't fall off the tree at once, unless you've had a particularly windy storm. But, changes even in nature are not absolutely immediate. Some of them kind of are, but in terms of transformative changes and transfigurative changes, they are relatively gradual, relatively. It's not going to be sudden. As I said, it's not going to be like the leaves don't immediately, as you're looking, within the same second, turn red and drop off the tree with a thud. You are singing this, and you're taking it step by step, and you're listening to what's around you, and you're harmonizing with that as you go. Improv and impromptu and ad lib. So this is where you're going to be at. Once you tune into that harmony, and once you are singing along with that harmony, and singing your own changes and singing with the changes, this is going to be a step-by-step thing. What is going to help you is that you will have support. We have Algies, which is the rune of the elk, otherwise known as the moose, and this has to do with protection and support. You will feel protected and you will feel supported. You've tuned out the bulk of humanity, the din of humanity, but you do have harmonic and resonant supports around you. And they are outer. They are not like inner supports. You do have inner support, obviously, but you do also have outer, and this could be other people in your life that you love and trust. This could be other systems in your life that are able to support you. So you are supported, and that's what's going to help you as you go step by step, harmonizing as you go. What isn't going to help you is you are going to be worried about your needs. You're going to be worried about, am I going to be able to tend my needs? Am I going to be able to, if needs come up, am I going to be able to deal with them? We have Nauthies, which is the rune of need. It always means tend your needs. It's in the negative line, so it's mostly worries about those things. You may feel like you may feel constrained, basically. You may feel constrained with your needs as you move forward, but you are supported. So that's what's basically going to help. It's like, what if I have this? Well, the answer is that's fine, because you are supported. There's always going to be somebody to help, somebody or something there that is going to be able to support you on your step-by-step journey of transformation. So what this is going to lead you to is we have Laguz reversed. So Laguz is the rune of all the watery stuff. It's the lake, it's the river, it's the ocean, depending on your rune poem. It's the watery stuff, it's the flow. And you're going to have a much better inner flow going on, as well as a connection to your inner heart going on. Your dreams are going to be very informative, or at least in a better flow. You're going to be on top of emotional surges. You're not going to be having the emotional surges that you might have had otherwise. You're just basically going to be very conscious of your inner flow, basically. It's emotion, intuition, heart. So, and flow. But it's basically, it's reversed and it's on the path line, which is inner in general. You're going to be very conscious of the inner flow going on. And this is because you've turned inward and you've listened to that, and you're sort of very much in harmony with that. And even as you move forward, you're going to keep your finger on that particular pulse, because change is the one constant in the universe, and as we move forward, we need to be able to gracefully change. And if you keep that finger on that pulse, as you move through things, as you move through the changes, you can always pick up that song again. So that's neat. So that is your reading, your message from Fairy. Card number 4, people. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye.